Yeah, because the days get so busy that sometimes you kind of forget about those things. Even like little things like, you know, fully conditioning your hair.
Then they kind of know where your head's at. So if you're like, look, definitely. I need to go and take 10, I need to go for a breather, they're going to get that.
I struggled with it when I was there. I'd kind of get a little bit annoyed at something and then just kind of blow it out of proportion. And then the next day I'll be like, oh,
sorry.
Oopsie, sorry.
This summer, like, you don't have to be everywhere with everyone. You don't have to go here, there and everywhere just because people are, because you'll just, like,
you will burn out.
Yeah, you won't thank yourself for it.
Hi, I'm Ffion.
And I'm Libby.
And welcome to the Camp Leaders Podcast, where we talk about all things summer camp, travel and America. So, Libby, we spoke a lot about our experience kind of before we go to camp and the first kind of week at camp and how we've felt then and the application process and all that stuff. But I feel like I want to chat about when you're at camp, like in the thick of it, like after staff training, the kids are there.
Yeah.
You know, you're a little bit tired and things like that. So I want to kind of get into that in this episode to kind of let people know what to expect, really. So yeah, I guess we'll start with, whilst you were at camp, did you like personally deal with any, like, were you ever homesick? Did you ever kind of miss home at all? Like, what's kind of your experience with that, really?
Yeah, I'd say my first year I definitely missed home. I think as soon as I got there, when you're kind of like adjusting to the new culture and everything, and like you've met all these new people, and although they're like great people and they're your friends, like it's obviously so different from being at home and your family. And I think a lot of the times it'll be the first time you've met these people, unless you've gone to camp with a friend, which obviously isn't as common. Like I didn't my first year. So yeah, I definitely felt homesick my first year. I remember I didn't realize I felt homesick, and then my dad rang me and then he just said like, hiya, and I was like, oh. And I hadn't realized I was homesick until that point. But yeah, I would say it didn't necessarily like consume my time there. Like I wasn't kind of too bad with it. And I think when I was busy, I didn't know I was homesick. It was just when I was getting into bed and things like that. I think that was when I got homesick. Definitely at the start of camp. I think my birthday's at camp as well.
Same.
So yours.
Yeah.
And I think then, I don't know if you feel the same, I feel like on my birthday, although it's like fun, I feel like it's at the same
sad.
It's a bit like like opening my cards and stuff, I'm always like oh.
Did you take your cards with you for your birthday?
Yeah,
same.
I took cards and a bar of Galaxy.
Nice. Nice, classic. Yeah, I took all my cards with me, and then all my like campers all wrote me cards and things like that as well, which is really cute.
And it's such like a nice, like I love having a camp birthday.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it is like, I think if I have any downtime on my birthday, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it makes you think of home more, because you kind
definitely.
of like, you normally would spend it with your family and things like that, but it's still good, but I know what you mean, it kind of heightens it a little bit. I feel like on things like that. And my graduation was while I was at camp as well, so I feel like I got homesick a little bit throughout the summer, but not really too much. I think it was very rare that I would get homesick, but yeah, it was like my birthday and graduation and things like that.
I missed my graduation this summer as well. So
I mean, I don't regret missing my graduation now, but like at the time I thought, oh, like why am I not there with my friends? Nice, but like now I've been to my graduation, I'm like, okay, that was a lot better.
I think even now, like going back to my third summer, like when I see my friends doing stuff, or I see my family doing stuff, like my family went on holiday last year, and like when they were sending pictures into the group chat, I wouldn't say it made me homesick, because I didn't really get homesick my second year, but I think it made me a bit more like
FOMO.
Like oh
yeah, for sure. No, but I feel like that was very kind of similar experience to what I had, especially like the more you get into camp as well, because I think at the beginning you're still kind of on that high, you're like making new friends, you're not really thinking about home at all, because you're just like so excited and kind of want to get stuck in with everything. Would you say it was like later on in camp that you started to like maybe feel a bit like, I know you said you weren't homesick like that much, but
not like yeah and no. I think my first year my homesickness was at the start, because I think when you're at the start you're there, but you don't 100% know you do know what's going on, but do you know what I mean? You're not 100% in it yet. Like, you're not like invested yet. I think it takes like the first week, and then you're like, wow. But yeah, so I would say towards the end, it's not really like homesickness. I think as it goes on, it's more just kind of like
tiredness.
Yeah, just getting, that's it really.
Yeah, because everyone talks about like the 7 weeks in, that's kind of like slump, because you're like, you know, obviously having a great time, but you're so tired because you're talking to people all day, you're kind of like out in the sun doing all these activities. So I feel like it often does get to a point at that 7 weeks. Like I've noticed it, not in myself, but other people that when I've been working at camp, that they might start to get a little bit tired, a little bit snappy maybe, which is fine, but I feel like I've noticed at that 7 weeks it's good to kind of check in on yourself and think, right, what do I need? What's gonna like
Reflect,
help me get through? Maybe skip a day off to nap or something. Like little things like that. I feel like little self-care things that you often forget about at camp become important at the end of it. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my camp's 6 weeks, so 7 weeks still mine.
Well, you've got staff training as well, though,
true.
so I guess that adds on to it.
But I would say there's definitely that point halfway through where it's, I think everything kind of like hits you a bit because you're so tired. But what you said about days off, like I feel like I'm such a big advocate for that. Like maybe more so with like evenings off, like just because everybody's going out for food or something, like you don't have to go. Like, and even though you might have FOMO, like you'll feel so much better in the morning if you just have that night in. Like I think when everybody's leaving camp, it's like, oh, but then honestly, that's when I like thrive. Like when I'm like reading on the porch of an evening, that really helps me. And I think it is, you're right, like incorporating self-care. Like when I'm at home, I love reading. So at camp, when I get to read, it's like my chill downtime, nice. Even if that's just like on a period off or like on an evening off, or even when I'm on duty, when the kids are all in bed and I'm on the porch, like just reading, then that for me is what kind of is my self-care. But I guess for everybody it'll be different. Like I know some people on days off who'll like go to the mall and maybe like get their nails done or something like that, or like
I was gonna say nails and things like that,
like buy themselves something nice from the mall, or like a pair of shoes or something. I think everybody has their little pick-me-up, and I think just because you're not at home, it doesn't mean you have to stop that.
No,
like,
definitely not.
I think if anything, you should make time for it. Like it's really important, I think.
Yeah, because the days get so busy that sometimes you kind of forget about those things. Even like little things like, you know, fully conditioning your hair. Like, I don't know, little things like that. Because I feel like if you give yourself some time on a day off or night off or whatever, you can leave a hair mask on. Get your hair looking nice, you know?
While you're on duty, hair mask on.
Exactly. But I feel like it is little things like that you wouldn't think of. Like, because I do that at home. Like, I'll sit, maybe have like a little hair mask on, whereas at camp I won't. And then I'm like, what has happened? Like, you just feel gross. And I feel like the better you feel, then the better you're gonna, like, I don't know, the better person you're gonna project onto the kids and everything.
Deep, No, that is true. Like, if you take yourself out of camp when you're at home, I feel like once you've had like your chill zen time or done whatever is self-care to you, you're always going to come out of it and be like a better. Like there were some people at my camp that used to go down to the lake and do like yoga, and I think like in a period off, like that'd
like,
be really good. That makes so much sense. But no, I agree 100%.
Yeah, because I feel like camp blues are quite a big thing where like maybe something that I don't know how to like wouldn't upset you that much back at home, when you kind of got those home comforts, would
like when emotions are heightened, things like
they
that,
kind of upset you at camp. But it's finding the balance of knowing when that's the case and when you're like, right, okay, I'm just tired, let's reassess, let's sleep, wake up in the morning. If it's still bothering me, then I'll kind of go see someone about it, and finding the balance of that and something that actually is really upsetting you and you need to go and kind of like chat to someone about it, because I feel like it's hard to find that balance when you're at camp. I know I struggled with it when I was there. I'd kind of get a little bit annoyed at something and then just kind of blow it out proportion, and then the next day I'll be like, oh
sorry,
oopsie, sorry. But I feel like it's kind of like not feeling bad for chatting to someone about it, because even
100%.
if it's a really small problem, like what you think's a small problem could not be a small problem to someone else, and just kind of, I don't know, but I feel like at camp it's hard sometimes to know when to speak to someone and when to not,
just think
basically
communicating that, even if it is something small, like just let your co's know, let the people that you live with know, just, oh, this has done my head in, like, and just communicating that to people, because then they kind of know where your head's at. So if you're like, look, I need to go and take 10, I need to go for a breather, they're gonna get that. So I just think communication when it comes to that is so important. Even if you want to chat to leadership, like whoever it is that you would go to at camp, just communicate it, because then it can kind of help to get resolved before it does get built up and, you know, like causes more upset than it needs to, whatever this thing might be. I would just say communication. Like if there was ever a day at camp this summer where maybe like I wasn't feeling quite myself, like I'd just say to my co's like, oh, I know, I'm just gonna go and take like a breather, or I'm just gonna go and call home or whatever, and everybody's gonna be so understanding because everybody goes through it. Everybody there will get it 100%.
Definitely. And I feel like they're like you said, they're going to understand, and you kind of that's what your co's are there for as well. Obviously they're there to help with the kids,
Yeah,
but they're also there to help support you when you're not kind
not
of
100%.
not feeling 100%, because you're working there, like you said, your camp's like 6 weeks. Not everyone can be on their best form every single day for 6 weeks, so it's kind of taking that time when you do need it so that you can be on your best form then
Yeah, exactly.
after,
Exactly.
rather
Yeah.
than burning yourself out and then you need like a week off or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Like it's better to like have one day where you're like, look, I'm off. I need not off for the day, of course, but like I need a breather. I need to go take time for myself or chat to somebody. Like I know at your camp you have like a mental health like specialist, don't you?
We have someone in the health centre that works alongside the nurses as well, and you can kind of book yourself in if you're feeling like you need to chat to someone about something and you kind of don't want to speak to your co's about it maybe, or leadership, if it's maybe something personal that's happened, you can kind of go and speak to her. She's also there for the kids as well, like if they need it, but kind of more so with the staff to help them get through kind of what they're going through, which is, I think it's quite good. I know that like quite a few camps have resources and things like that at the health centre, but also at my camp as well, all leadership staff are mental health trained.
Oh, really?
So they've all done their mental health first aid,
so everybody knows what
and they know all the procedures and kind of how to handle each situation. That's more so for the kids, but also for the counsellors as well, to kind of like
it could be
assist them with the kids, because there can be a lot of maybe mental health issues with the kids or things like that if things are happening at home as well. So it's to kind of support the counsellors going through that with the kids as well, because I know that can then have a knock-on effect. If the kids may be going through some kind of mental health problems, then the counsellors might also take that burden on as well,
to kind of
like go down the line and be like help
and like
everyone,
support for everyone.
Definitely.
No, I think that's really good. I think that is really good. But say for example, like if you were feeling yourself starting to get like burnt out, like what would you do? Like what are your like question. like what would you do if it was you? Like what are your like tips? What would you go to be?
I feel like when I'm starting to feel a little burnt out, honestly having a nap. Like last summer I would regularly, only like half an hour now, but I would say to the other leadership staff, hey, will you like cover me? If anyone calls me on the walkie-talkie, you can answer it, and just go like even just lie in like a dark room for an hour, and then I'd come back feeling so refreshed.
Zen.
I'd sometimes maybe go for like a swim in the lake as well on my break or something, just to kind of like get my brain just like so I feel like when you go like swimming or have a nap, you just don't think about anything for a sec, so then you can kind of come back and think, right, these are the things I need to resolve today, kind of this is how I'm going to go about it. I also felt really comfortable kind of chatting to my co's about anything, or the health staff in the nurse's office. I know often some people might not feel as comfortable as me though talking about maybe mental health or kind of the way they're feeling, but I think at camp it is important, like you said, just communicate with, even if you don't want to tell like the ins and outs, as long as you say I'm having a hard time, don't want to say anything more, as long as somebody knows, just to kind of not let it get out of like spiral kind of,
definitely,
and I know there's things external from camp as well, resources that I think, were you given so many like in your don't know what I was trying to say there. Were you given resources in your staff training that first week, kind of people you can call maybe, or like things to do if the kids were maybe?
So we, in our staff orientation, that's all kind of covered. So like we have people come in that like talk about like wellness for us and for the campers as well, and like how to practice it ourselves and how to practice it with the campers. But there's always somebody to go and somewhere to go and someone to talk to, I find. But it's just kind of knowing in yourself when you need to like tap out for a little bit and just say
even with like camp leaders as well, we have a helpline,
if anything's ever needed,
even so if it's like something at camp that you don't think, I don't think this maybe would be the case, but if it was the case that you didn't feel like you could speak to kind of anyone at camp, then you could. Were you like aware of that number while you were out there as well?
Definitely.
I think I had it written in my notes my first
just in case,
in case I needed to call.
I had a page on my notes and I shared everything, like it was like a shared note with my family, just in case. So it was probably on there, to be fair, but the USA number, no, I definitely think that's like a good resource if needed, then
because I think it's just a thing as well to remember that obviously like no size fits all when it comes to stuff like that. Like we said, everyone will have different self-care things, everyone will kind of feel different amounts of comfort when speaking to people. But so, and like every way of handling it's fine as long as you kind of communicate, really.
Yeah, 100%. I think communication is key.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think we touched upon it before, but kind of how exhausted you feel at some points at camp, definitely, you know, that comes up quite a lot. I feel like at camp, the exhaustion that you feel just with being on your feet all day, like I said, in the sun, in the heat, kind of looking after kids. I feel like it's because it's such a big kind of change from a lot of people's everyday life. Obviously, you know, if you're a teacher and things like that, it's maybe not that much of a change, but say you work an office job or you're maybe working at university, going to university, then I feel like going to camp for the summer is quite a change.
100%,
and it's quite high energy all the time, and you need to kind of be happy, smiley, like there for the kids. So I think it's just nice to think about that exhaustion before you go, so you can be like prepared for it, not to like be scared of it, because like it happens to everyone.
Well, it's like with anything, like even for example, if you're in uni, when like you're writing your dissertation and stuff, there's going to be a day where you're halfway through your dissertation and you're like, like I just need like
I need like 5 minutes.
Exactly. But yeah, I would say it's so normal with anything, and it's like it's kind of can sometimes be like built up like, oh well, and it doesn't need to be. Like you can just like be aware that just not to burn yourself out. I would say that's
the main
like the key
takeaway.
thing. Like just be aware to rather than peaking at the start of summer and then being really tired for the rest. Just keep a constant level. Yeah,
because it's hard to do. Like those first couple of weeks, you want to be everywhere. You want to speak to everyone. But just knowing that like just don't burn yourself out, basically.
I think with like days off and evenings off is a really a big thing about it. Like I remember I said it to my friends whose first year it was this summer, like you don't have to be everywhere with everyone. You don't have to go here, there and everywhere just because people are, because you'll just like you
will burn out.
Yeah, you won't thank yourself for it. Like just take a night.
Definitely.
So like even if for example there's an evening off and all your friends want to go somewhere, they want to go out for food or something, like you could just say to them, oh, why don't we just go and chill by the lake instead, and then you're all having that downtime. You're still with people, but like but
you're not gonna like going out and
you're just chilling. Like it or like at my camp I know we have like a cinema room, like, you know, using that, putting something on Netflix, like just chilling. That's the key word.
I remember my first year, some of my best nights off or like times off were just sat on the staff porch playing like a game of Uno and just like chatting. Like I feel like they were some of my best nights off, and they're the ones that I'll remember a lot more than when I'd like went to a restaurant and things like that. I don't know, like I feel like just making those connections and even just like sitting there and chilling, not saying anything, like kind of just being with those people on that staff porch, they're just like my absolute best memories.
I definitely agree. Like although it's great, you know, being able to go off and do all this and like by no means saying that people shouldn't do that.
Oh no, not all. But not like every.
Not every. Like,
and if, you know, if you're like a high energy person, you can then
pop off.
Do it. Again, it's that no size fits all thing. Like I know for me, I need at least like one night of the summer where I'm kind of, you know, day off. Of the summer where I just chill. Maybe go get an ice cream.
Like
something
there's
like that.
A few times this summer where instead of going like where everybody was going like to the lake or something, for example, we'd just go to the mall. And, like it's just a slower day, like you can have a wander around
in the air conditioner,
get some food and then like head back, watch a film in the staff lounge or something like that. Like that's still a really nice day off. It doesn't have to be a million miles an hour all the time. You can still be a little bit zen.
For sure. At my camp during staff training, kind of orientation and things like that, we would have sessions regarding mental health or like surrounding mental health. Obviously seeing the, you know, mechanisms for counsellors to cope with it or staff members to cope with their own mental health as well. But we also did kind of specific sessions on children as well, and the campers that were coming, and maybe if they were struggling with their mental health, kind of how you would go about it. And we did a lot on specific age groups as well. So once you were kind of put in an age group and you knew kind of what age children you'd be working with, then your Res Life leader, group leader, whatever that camp calls it, would do sessions with you and training you of like how, well, not training you, but kind of
like setting you up,
giving you the tools and the knowledge to know kind of how to deal with each situation. And if a situation comes about that you kind of didn't know anything about, like how you would assess it and how you would, you know, decide kind of what you need to do and who you need to go to and what help you need to do, kind of like how severe it is maybe, and all of that stuff. I know I've been on kind of both sides of it. So I've been a counsellor being trained like that, and I've been leadership kind of training people doing that as well. I don't know, did your camp have like a similar thing, say in orientation? Do you kind of
so we just have
that?
kind of like general training on it before we get assigned to our age groups. And then when we've been assigned to our age groups, we have this group that come in and they basically like play out like situations. So you split into, I think, upper camp and lower camp, so like the oldest kids and the youngest kids, and they basically just like play out situations that might come up, and you like respond as if you're in that situation.
Oh, wow.
Like it's kind of, it's really helpful, to be fair. It's kind of hard when you're first there, you know, to get yourself stuck in, but once you're in it, it's really good, it's really helpful. Like you just respond as if it's you're in that situation, and then they kind of advise you on what was good, what would change, and things like that. But no, I think you're so right, because at the same time, the leadership and, you know, the group leaders, res life leaders as you have, will also be getting trained on that. And as a counsellor, I don't think you'll ever be in a situation where you're out of your depth. And if you are, I think you'll have been prepped in orientation and training week to know who to call.
Definitely. And there's always someone there to help you out with the situation. You're never kind of be left
like,
what
do I do? What do I respond to this? Like, I think there's always going to be someone you will know where to go. Like, you'll have been prepped on who to talk to, if, you know, or even if you're out your depth. Like, I think that just leads back to what we were saying earlier about communication. Like, just communicating, look, this issue's come up. Now, how do we move forward, kind of thing.
Definitely. And that's what I like about camp. I feel like you're never alone. Like, there's always somebody there that's going to be there by, like, click of your fingers, send them a message, you know. If you've got a walkie-talkie, contact them on that. But yeah, I feel like there's always someone there that will be able to help you out in a situation. You'll never be, I know it's at my camp, I know it's like this at a lot of camps, probably yours as well. The hiring team and the leadership staff are aware that for a lot of people it's their first time maybe working with children, and they might not know how to handle each situation perfectly, which is fine as long as you're kind of going off the guidance that you're given and asking for help when you need it.
Then 100%.
That's literally all you can do.
And I think at the same time, leadership staffs are using you. For example, you're in leadership and you've been an international counsellor and it's been your first year away from home, so you've lived it, you know what it's like, you can relate back to that. So I think
for sure,
like, I don't think at camp there's going to be many, like, I don't really think you'll be on your own, like, you're like ever. You're always going to be able to chat to somebody, to fall back on somebody, to like call for help if needed. And I just think it's being confident in yourself to do that. Like, don't feel like you have to keep stuff to yourself, because like you don't.
Definitely. And even outside of the camp circle itself, there's like loads of resources that you can use. Like, obviously you can call Camp Leaders, like I said before, on the helpline that I think everyone will get before they go, and it's online and things like that too. Also, I know the American Camp Association, on their website, they have like loads of resources and like helplines and, you know, little articles you can read about if you're struggling with anything. Maybe, like, I know some people like to read things, and then that might make them feel better, kind of knowing that they're not alone and everything. I think it was like Mesh as well. I'm gonna read it, so I want to get it right. But yeah, mental, emotional and social health, which just on the ACA's website, it's kind of a big thing on there to kind of, if you're struggling, go on there and kind of read that. If you don't feel like you've got all the support you'd need at camp, which is going to rarely ever be the case, but it's good to know that you've got loads of options out there
and where to go. Even
definitely. If you're a little shy person, don't want to speak to someone about it, that's
problem shared is a problem halved.
Exactly.
That's what I would say.
But no, I feel like that was everything, but I do have a couple of questions again.
Okay.
So let's delve into them. Where are they? Okay, so the first one today that we're going to ask you is, if you suffer with anxiety, would that be a problem?
No, I would say no. It's like a completely normal thing to be going through. And I think when you get to camp, there's going to be a lot of other people who are going to be like, you know, with their own kind of, everybody's going to have their own different like aspects of their personalities, if that's, you know, something that you might struggle with. I just think it's communicating that, and
Yeah.
you'll know kind of what works for you. And I think communicating that, you know, say to leadership, if you're struggling and you need to take some time for yourself, just be open and say, look, I'm you know, feeling quite anxious today. Is it okay if I just take this period off? And the chances are they're going to say yeah. So I would say no, it's definitely not a problem. Like the leadership at camp, they're people too. Like they've, you know, they've got problems, worries of their own as well. So they're, you know, the likelihood is you're going to have a good relationship with them, and you're going to feel confident enough to be open and honest and just kind of, you know, communicate to them what works best for you, so they know as well how you're going to be set up for success for the summer, and they know like what's going to make you be the most successful version of yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like as well with anxiety, if you're maybe like on medication for it, just making sure you take enough with you out there as well.
Of course,
that's like another kind of main one too. But yeah, it definitely would not be a problem to have anxiety at camp. Like you said, as long as you know how to kind of like manage it and let people know. Then,
I just think if you're being open like about what works best for you and managing it, you know, if you're having like an anxious day and you know what's best for you, then good. Like you communicate that to people, and so they know again how to set you up for success.
No, perfect. So let's go on to the next question, which I feel like I know a lot about this
Okay.
answer. So realistically, how many pairs of shoes is too many?
Okay, so if it was me going to camp, I would take a pair of Crocs, a nice pair of trainers that I would wear like on evenings off, etc., etc. My Doc Marten sandals, which name drop, which would be like my like dressy shoes after camp, your version of your stilettos that you took your first year. So Crocs, nice trainers, nice sandals. Then I'd also take a pair of trainers that you're going to leave at camp. Realistically, they're not going to survive the summer. They're going to be a good buy. And then, so that's 4. I would say if you want to take a 5th, you could take a pair. Like I had a pair of trainers this year that were like nice. They came home with me, but they were reserved for like trips where I'm walking for a while. They're comfy. So that's
some like memory foam sketches or something.
But then like flip-flops, like realistically, I think that's a lot.
6. Yeah, but if you think like flip-flops and sandals and Crocs, they're not really shoes.
Call it 5.5. Then I don't know, I think it depends what you're doing at camp as well. You know,
that's so true.
Like
actually.
people are gonna like the horseback people are probably gonna be taking like wellies or like some kind of boots. Or like the football specialists, soccer. We'll be taking like
football
cleats as they call them. I don't know. If we're picking a number, I'd say more than 7 is too much.
Some people would say like 2.
I
feel like some people honestly take like Crocs or sandals of choice and a pair of trainers, and that'd be it.
Then it depends on what your plans are for after camp as well. Because
I guess you can always get shoes whilst you're there as well. Like I know I've definitely got shoes, like you said, that you take with you. You're gonna leave at camp. You're gonna like, you couldn't even donate them.
My Air Force.
Goodbye. But then you can always go to the outlets whilst you're out there if you want like a nice pair for whilst you're traveling.
That's what my...
Oh, and you can count the shoes that you travel in. So you're wearing a pair of shoes, wear your heaviest pair of shoes to go, and your heaviest pair of shoes to go back,
and then
you get an extra pair of shoes.
But it does kind of depend, like what.
Like
if you're, I don't know, going to be going on like hikes and stuff, you're going to need a hiking boot.
I think in the past I've definitely taken too many. I think last year I took, I want to say 4 pairs of trainers, 2 pairs of Crocs.
If you've got the room though, like I think if you've got the room, then
cowboy boots as well. I bought them at camp though, but I had to bring them home with me.
I think they're cool to have. Like if you're going to Nashville,
I had like shiny pink cowboy boots.
That's cool.
I
remember my first year at camp. So outside of our bunks, we have cubbies, and they're like little holes for shoes. And we had like 12 campers, and there was 4 members of staff. And on my first day, I was unpacking and I had like each pair of my shoes in a different one
No,
of
you
these cubbies.
didn't.
I was taking up room, and then it was like a week from the end of camp. They were like, have you got a cubby for each of your pairs of shoes? And they had like one cubby for like 3 pairs of trainers. And they had like Crocs here, sandals here, my trainers here. Yeah.
Amazing. No, so I feel like in short, there's too many would be like over 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. But then some people are training people.
They are, but you got to reel it back in to be able to take other important things
take
with
advantage
you
of the
as
shopping
well.
out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what did I buy? I bought some New Balance this year, and they were, because in America the kid sizes are
Yeah,
bigger.
they go bigger.
Yeah, so I got my New Balance for like $50. I was buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that's everything today, guys. Thank you for listening and watching. Just remember, whilst you're at camp, there's always someone to talk to, whether that's at camp or the resources we spoke about on this. You'll be able to find more of that on our website, on your prep day videos and everything like that, and on the ACA's website too. But yeah, tune in next week where we'll be talking about after camp travel and our top tips and our experiences. So bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Camp Leaders Podcast. If you liked it, please remember to hit subscribe to be the first to hear about all future episodes.